Today I'm gonna speak from Bhagavad-gītā 7.1. Please repeat after me. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamana Parda Yogam Yunjan Madastraya Asamsayam Samagramam Yata Gnasyasit Tachrunu. So, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Lord said, Maya to me, Asaktamana, mind attached, Partha, Osana Pruta, Yogam, self-realization, Yanjam, practicing, Madastraya, in consciousness of me, Krishna consciousness, Asamsayam, without doubt, Samagram, completely, Mam, me, Yata, how, Gnasyasi, you can know, Tat, that, Shrinu, try to hear. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Now hear, O Sana Pruta, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Purport. In this 7th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, the nature of Krishna conscious is fully described. Krishna is full in opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described herein. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad-gītā, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit, soul, capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. At the end of 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahmanjyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth, because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge behind any doubts. Different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahmajyoti and Paramatma in full. By practicing of Krishna conscious yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and their manifestations with paraphernalia. One should therefore begin yoga practice as described in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Sravanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Tat Shrunu, or hear from me. No one can be a great authority than Krishna, and therefore, by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non-devotee upstart puffed up with academic education. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto as follows. Srinvatam Savakat Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Rudyanti Stoya Abhadyani Vidhunoti Shruti Satam Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Tada Rajastamo Bhava Kama Loba Dhayaschaye Chetaetair Anavidham Stitam Sattve Prasidati Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate Vedyanti Hrudaya Grantasti Chidyanti Sarva Samasya Kshishyanti Chasya Karmani Drushta Evat Manishvare. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad-gītā is itself a righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotees who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service and understands the signs of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga serves the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asamsayam Samagraham, understanding of the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. Bhagavad-gītā 1.2, 17 to 21. Bhagavatam. Thereafter, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the signs of Krishna. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamanapada Yogam Yunjam Madashraya Asamsayam Samagramam Yata Jnanasya Tashrunum. Please repeat with me. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunādanvitam Tam Tajevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakānvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dīnabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shrute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Krupa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Rivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Rama Rama Hare Hare. So I would like to sincerely Welcome everyone to the Sunday feast of ISKCON Denmark. Today, the verse itself says, Maya Saktamana Parda. Yeah, this is better too. So Krishna says, actually surrendering unto him is the perfect goal of life. Many years back, it was my first Sunday feast class in London. I was attending. Chandramouli Maharaj was giving the class. And he was right after Jayarada Madhav, he straight away tells, like, we should be mad after Krishna. And then I was just sitting, a new boy there, looking at me, you should be mad after Krishna. And I just started thinking, how is that possible? We never saw Krishna practically. And we don't know actually about anything about Krishna. Probably we heard from ācāryas and we see, and probably Indians, we grown up with that culture. But how we can mad after Krishna? That's our whole, our practice of Krishna consciousness. So ācārya says, it can be done first from Shravanam and Kirtanam. Hear about Krishna and repeat. What is that? We usually hear Hare Krishna mantra and then we try to repeat. And the question is like how standard we are. One time I heard Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj says, if anyone is not chanting 64 rounds, he says actually he is not even a human being. When I heard it, actually it's very, very heavy statement. It's actually, he says, even lower than animals. And Prabhupada says, okay, you chant 16 rounds minimum. By chanting, and then we can get the affection, get the love for Krishna. So, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Gopi, in the mood of the topmost Gopika Radharani, he came and he says, if anyone chants one round of Hare Krishna mantra, he is a pure devotee. I can see that some happy faces here. So, but is that possible that we can be a pure devotee by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, just one round Hare Krishna mantra? It's actually impossible. Prahlad Maharaj says to his father, Chasadumanye asuravarya dehinam sada samudvigga sadgrahad Chittatvatapam gruhanda kupam vanam gato madastraya hariastraya. He says, he's telling his father, my dear father, you are actually the best of demons. It's so offense to taste, think somebody is saying to us, you are the best of demons. But he's actually glorifying his father. And he says, my dear father, people think like this material world, trying to find happiness in this world is like, falling into the deep dark well and trying to find a happiness in there. But practically we find nothing, only anxiety comes, nothing else. And he clearly says, one should go to Vanam. And Prabhupada writes, especially it's a Vrindavanam. But do we have that possibility living in Denmark, and can we go and live in Vrindavan and get the pure Krishna Bhakti? No, it's impossible. That's why Krishna actually comes to this planet to get more attraction towards him. So people oftentimes says, why God has to come to this planet? And the Prabhupada says in one of his classes, the answer is very simple, to attract the conditions to souls like all of us. In Jayadeva Goswami, he actually compiler of the Dashavatara Sotram. And he very nicely glorified Krishna in 10 incarnations. And then what happened? One day, he was compiling Gita Govindam. And then he started thinking, there is a particular verse it came up where he has to write, Lord Krishna is actually serving the Gopikas. The topmost Gopika was Srimati Radharani. And then when he was serving, he personally massaging her feet. And being a married man, Jayadeva Goswami, he didn't like the idea. He was confused that day. And then he told his wife, okay, my dear wife, I'm little stuck with this Gita Govinda commentary because everything looks nice in Krishna consciousness, except this point, how we can actually, glorify the gopikas. It's too impractical. Why a god can touch the lotus feet of some female is a girlfriend? It's impossible. And then he confused, and then he went outside. He said, okay, I will go and take the bath and come back and let me think about nicely. And then he went outside, and then immediately he came back. And then his wife got confused. And he starts says, what happened to you today? Are you okay? It looks like so much confusion. And then he said, no, I'm fine. And then he compiled the rest of the thing that Krishna was massaging the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani and touching her feet and then washing her feet. And then he told to his Jayadeva Goswami wife and said, I just want to take the prasadam. Please cook something for me. And then she prepared very nice prasadam, Padmavati. And then he ate and he left. And right after, actually, again Jayadeva Goswami came. And then wife got confused again. What happened today, my dear husband? You looks like so mad today. And then, by looking at the situation, Jayadeva Goswami was chastising his wife. How can you say that? I'm completely okay. I just had my bath, and then I'm just coming to compile the rest of the things. And she said, wait. You came, and then you gone again, and you came again, and you are coming again. What's happened? And then Jayadeva Goswami immediately went to his room and then opened his Gita Govindam, compiling thing. And then he immediately saw that whatever he was thinking exactly his mind about Gopikas, it was compiled. Immediately understood, and he came to his wife and then he said, okay, you are the pure devotee of the Lord. How is that possible? I dedicate my whole life to Krishna. But, Krishna had just came and then, you had his darshan. You were serving prasadam to him. And the similar incident happened in Mahabharata. One time, this is all to show actually how the Gopikas are important, In Srila Rupa Goswami, he compiled in one of the slokas, he says, I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Shudra, I'm not a Brahmachari, I'm not a householder, I'm not a king, I'm simply a Gopi, Bharta, Pada, Kamala, Dasa, Dasanu Das. He says, I'm not it, I don't have any qualifications. I'm the only servant of the Gopikas, their servant of the servants. I'm the servant of the Gopikas. And then Krishna says, he wants to prove actually. We often think like Gopikas are the topmost devotees. By getting their mercy, we can get easily please Krishna. And Krishna wants to show by example. In Mahabharata, there is a story. One time Krishna got a headache. This is a transcendental headache. Narada Muni came. And then he was looking at Krishna and then he says, what happened, my dear Lord? Today you looks like little upset. And Krishna says, I got a headache. Oh, okay. What happened? How it can be cured? What kind of medicine we can get it from anywhere? And he says, no. Give me some dust from my pure devotees. Now, if you keep it on my forehead, and that is a pure medicine, that nothing else works for my headache. And then Narada is a pure devotee of Lord, and he wants to please the Lord. And then immediately he was thinking about who is a pure devotee of Krishna. Then he went to his wives. And none of the wives wants to give dust from the lotus field because they think like by giving that we will go to hell. And then Narada Muni started thinking, who is the pure devotee more? And then he thought about Arjuna. Arjuna is the pure devotee of Krishna. Because it says in Mahabharata, even Arjuna, inhale, it sounds like Krishna. And exhales, it sounds like Krishna. And if we inhales, like it's a snore. So, and then he said, okay, he went to Arjuna and said, my dear Arjuna, you are best friend. You got so much headache. The only medicine is just to get some dust from your lotus feet. And Narada Muni, Arjuna got really upset. And I said, Narada Muni, you came with a little plan. You want to actually make my friendship with Krishna destroyed. Then he declined. And then he thought about Uddhava. Uddhava also declined to give dust to Krishna. And then at the end, Uddhava says, Narada, I actually have once experienced there in Vrindavan, I heard actually Gopikas are the pure devotees of Lord. Maybe you can try and get some dust. Maybe it works out. And Narada Muni went all the way to Vrindavan. And in the Ganges of, and actually the banks of Yamuna river, Gopikas were singing and glorifying pastimes of Krishna. And as soon as Narada Muni saw them, he said, oh, you are singing about your Krishna nicely, but you know what happened to Krishna? He got so much headache and you don't bother about him. And they said, oh no, okay, how is that possible? You know, Krishna got headache, you know, we are actually always thinking about Krishna. No, it cannot be possible, like, you know, we cannot tolerate this pain. And then he immediately said, the only medicine is if you give the dust from your lotus feet, and that actually cured Krishna's headache. And Gopikas, you know, immediately take out, you know, okay, give it to, you know, just it should go as soon as possible. And then Narada Muni actually started questioning, my dear Gopikas, you started thinking, you know, you actually started giving without thinking about your problems, you know, by giving your lotus, you know, the dust to Krishna, you will go to hell. And Srimati Radharani says, my dear Narada, we wants to go to hell even for the Krishna's sake. So this declares actually, Gopikas are the pure devotees of the Lord. And then soon we are approaching Kartika month, Kartika Damodar month from 17th of October. This Kartika month is also called Urja Vrat, Urjeshwari. Urja means Shakti, potency, you know, the energy of the Lord. And oftentimes people also says, how is that possible? Yeah, we say it's a Damodar month, you know, we say this month. But what is a Kartika month? Kartika is very significant name, how it came. And then the name itself came from the Srimati Radharani's name. Srimati Radharani's father name is Vrishabhan, exactly. And Vrishabhanu, the daughter of Vrishabhan is, can anyone guess the daughter it comes? Kartika Kumari. And that's how the name came actually. So we usually celebrate from Purnima to Purnima, Sharat Purnima to Sharat Purnima. In this Kartika month, it started, the many actually auspicious things started in the Kartika month. The first thing is Gopi Geet. One time Krishna wants to do the rasa dance with the Gopikas. And then he started playing the flute. Krishna has a flute sound for special occasions. You know, he plays to call cows for one sound, you know, one melody, and he calls for the Gopikas for one other melody. As soon as he started playing his flute, Gopikas understood actually, this is for, Krishna is calling for us. And then in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami clearly mentions, even describes, when Krishna plays his flute, Gopikas, they started dusting the top garment to the bottom and bottom garment to the top. Actually, they forget everything, even their children, their husband, then their household duties. And then everyone actually started going to Krishna just to play the Rasa Leela. And then Krishna says, smilingly, and he says, why you, all the girls, you know, very noble girls, how can you leave all your belongings, your family members, and you would come to just play the Rasa Leela dance with me in the middle of the night? And the Gopika started crying. Oh, Krishna, we just came to dance with you. How come you simply say that? And then, you know, just he was playing in a mood that, you know, he wants to chastise a little bit Gopikas, and then the Rasa Leela dance starts. As soon as the Rasa Leela dance started, all the Gopikas started thinking that Krishna is simply dancing with me. And naturally we think, when we started doing some devotional service, and we get some favors, and we think like, oh, Krishna is with me. He's in my heart, you know, he's always listened to me. And then it's completely, is in my heart. We always think like, you know, Krishna is surrendered to me, instead of we surrender to Krishna. And just to teach lesson, and Krishna suddenly disappeared in the middle of the Rasa dance. And then he came back after some time. Once he left, and Gopikas with the great anxiety, they started singing the Gopi Geet. That's how it manifested. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in Puri, he actually simply sing Gopi Geet every single day. And when gopis came back from the, when Krishna came back from the disappearing, Gopikas actually started asking 3 questions to Krishna in a chastising way. They says, Krishna, in this world, there are 3 kind of people. The people, first category of the people are, they reciprocate to the people who reciprocate to them. And the second kind of people, they reciprocate to even their enemies. And third kind of people, they simply reciprocate to anyone. They don't do that actually. They simply ignore the people. Can you explain to us? Krishna told, people who reciprocate to the persons who reciprocate to them in a loving way, in an affectionate way, he says, they are simply selfish people. They are simply against the rules of dharma. Because if my senses are not satisfied by the way I wanted, that means he is not my friend. And there are people who reciprocate to even to the enemies. It's like a parent. They are by nature, they are compassion. They just reciprocate to anyone. And they follow true dharmic religions things. And they are the pure devotees. Not necessarily devotees, but they are the people actually to be in the level of mode of goodness. And in the third category of the people who are spiritually content and materially, or the materially people who has everything, are the people who has selfish, are people who are inimical to their superiors. These people never reciprocate to anyone. And they actually go to hell. So Krishna says, I left you in the middle of the rasa dance just to increase your love towards me. Just to increase, just to churning the nectar. Imagine like if someone gets a lottery. A few years back, I watched a documentary. What happens to the people who get millions of lotteries? In 3-4 years, maximum period. And they come back to whatever they were doing before. Even worse, actually. And they don't understand the value of fortune that they get it instantly. This is the same thing happened to us. If Krishna reciprocate immediately to our prayers, oh Krishna, we want something. And Krishna will reciprocate, okay, just take it. And we don't appreciate, and then we don't really value the devotion service. And Srila Prabhupada writes to this commentary. He says, this is the purity of devotion service. This is the purity. Krishna will never reciprocate easily, actually. So, and then in the Kartika month, this happened actually in the Kartika month, Gopi Geet, the beautiful Gopi Geet. And then comes the Govardhan Leela. The Govardhan Leela also happened in Kartika month. One time, Brahma went to see Krishna. And then he was waiting. And then his servants, he told his servants, Krishna's servants, okay, I came. Brahma came. Chaturmukhi Brahma came. And the servant went to Krishna and says, okay, Brahma came. And then he said, which Brahma? Which planet Brahma? Go and ask him. And then he came back, Brahma got confused. Which Brahma? Which Brahma is asking? How can Krishna says that, Because Brahma doesn't know how many Brahmas are there in these planets. And he might be the superior creation in this our planet system, but there are millions of head Brahmas are there. And Brahma says, Chaturmukhi Brahma came. And then he actually forgot the reason why he came. And then he started meditating. And why Krishna says that? Why he could not able to understand that, Brahma came, because I'm the only Brahma. to teach Brahma a lesson, Krishna manifested in Govardhan Leela. And this happened in the Kartika month. So, and also in Gopastami. Usually we celebrate Gopastami in this month. Once Krishna was, he was 5 years old, and then he was ready to take the cows actually to forest, and mother doesn't like the idea, and she wants to say, okay, I can send you to the forest with the cows, but make sure that you have a shoes. And a mother says, the Krishna says actually, if you want to make the shoes, please make the shoes also for the 900,000 cows into 4 times. So no one will get hurt. So by hearing all this, the cows actually outside in the Nanda Maharaja yard, they heard all this news, how Krishna reciprocating their desires and their wish, and they started crying like anything. And that night they went to completely Brajamandal, and they started mashing all the dust into the fine sand, sand. I don't know if any one of you been to, it's not necessarily in Vrindavan completely, but Revati Raman Reti, yes. Raman Reti, and certain places you can still see the fines, the soil, sand in Vrindavan still. And this is the Gopastami Leela. It happened in Vrindavan, Kartika month. And also Krishna kills Narakasur. And also he married 16,800 wives in this Kartika month. And then Radhakunda, in the Radhakunda, it says, according to Shastra, the most purest place in the whole planetary system is Radhakund. And in this particularly Kartika month, it manifested in the this Radhakund. Then Bali Leela and Kurma appearance. And then even Dhruva Maharaj also. After Dhruva Maharaj, when he went to forest, he was meditating 5 months to get the mercy of Krishna. But when it's come to Kartika month, Damodar Kartika month, in the 6th month, Krishna appeared to him. And this actually indicates the Kartika month also is a very special month. We all should actually do more devotional service. And especially in our Prabhupada, in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Prabhupada also disappeared in the Kartika month. And Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, personally advised Srila Prabhupada to go to preach and go to West and preach in English-speaking countries. So that also happened in the Kartika month. So one may question, what happened if I follow the Kartika month? And there is also one simple, historical thing happened. Once Rukmini, he asked Krishna, how come there are so many pure devotees of you and so many people meditate on you for thousands and millions of years, but what is that fortunate thing? Only I became your wife. And Krishna reveals that in your previous life, you are completely doing Kartika Damodar month. Even your father left in Haridwar, he left the body, your husband left the body, and then even until your last breath, you are practicing Damodar month. This is the only reason you actually got the opportunity to become my wife. So this is one example reveals what happened if we do the Kartika Damodar month. And then we might be thinking like what we can do in the Kartika month. The best thing is one should wake up in the early morning. If one has a possibility, one can only eat the fruits whole month. And then if that is not the possibility, one can take one time a meal. And if that is not the possibilities, take the meal and then chant more rounds, 16 rounds. If possible, increase double number of rounds. One time in the Kartika month, Guru Prabhu asked him, Guru Swami asked him, Prabhupada, Kartika month came, what can we do? And Prabhupada says, chant 24 hours. And Prabhupada immediately started chanting, Guru started chanting immediately. And Prabhupada says, without drinking or eating. Prabhupada always comes with the terms and conditions. And Prabhupada says, Prabhupada, how is that possible? It's impossible. And Prabhupada says, yes. That's why increase the number of your rounds and do more devotional service. So this way you can completely utilize the Kartika month. And we may think, what happens to me? Sometimes I chant only one round, and sometimes even I don't do any rounds. And there is also one special benediction for the persons who wants to even get the more benefit. The best benefit is just inviting the devotees to your house. By inviting devotees to your house, you can get all the benefits and give the donations, Lakshmi, to the devotees who comes to your house. That is even also greatest benefit. And one time when I came to Denmark 13, 14 years back, I was doing the Damodar programs. And one very nice, pious family, he said, okay, come Prabhu, we want to do Damodar programs. And then I was practically like a beggar that time. Then I went there by public transportation. And they were so much in ecstasy after Damodar program. They gave me some coins. Okay, I thought maybe I can use for public transportation, for the train. And then I went to the train station, and I was putting the money in the coin box, and I was all rejecting. And I was looking, this money is like some Eastern European country money. Not can be used. So it's not like that. But yeah, inviting the devotees is the best way that you can get the more benefits in the Kartika month. So one can actually read the Gita Gopi Geet in Kartika month and read the Damodarashtakam. And if you have a possibilities, keep one of this picture in your house, and please do the ghee lamp arati in the morning and evening while singing the Damodarashtakam. It's very beautiful Damodarashtakam that we will do that. So yes, so Kartika Damodar Bhagavan ki